Vallow Daybell, as to the crime of count 1, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder occurring on or about July 11, 2019, guilty.
That was the moment that a jury found Vallow Daybell guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. The Doomsday mom had already been convicted of killing 2 of her children in Idaho. Now she's been found guilty of conspiring to kill her husband, Charles Vallow, in Chandler back in 2019. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. We have team coverage for you of all the sides of today's verdict. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono is live outside the Maricopa County Courthouse where the trial took place. She talked to several of the jurors after they reached the verdict. But let's begin our coverage with 12 News journalist Erica Stapleton, who's been covering this case for several years now. Erica?
As Vallow Daybell sat in the courtroom and listened to a jury find her guilty, Charles Vallow's family and others in the courtroom let out a sigh of relief.
A moment of truth for Vallow Daybell.
Guilty.
A reckoning for Charles Vallow's family.
6 years of walking the pits of hell every day. I'm ready to move on. It's time.
A jury found Vallow Daybell guilty of conspiring with her brother to kill her former husband Charles Vallow back in 2019, all so she could take his money and be with her new husband, Chad Daybell. She's already been convicted in Idaho for murdering her children, Tylee and JJ, and her role in the death of Tammy Daybell, Chad Daybell's first wife. In this case, the prosecutor brought in almost 20 witnesses and showed the jury text messages, phone calls, and police video to make her case for a conspiracy. Vallow Daybell, who represented herself, claimed self-defense and didn't call any witnesses or present any evidence.
We got you. And you're not the smartest person in the room.
Charles's sister, Kay Woodcock, and brother, Jerry Vallow.
You can just hide away and everybody's going to forget about you. We'll be on our way through our life and she'll be rotting in prison where she deserves to be.
And like Charles always used to say, love always wins.
Kay Woodcock even taking the stand in this trial, facing off with Vallow Daybell in cross-examination.
Ms. Woodcock, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with Alex Cox to kill my husband, Charles Vallow?
No, but I saw a ton of evidence that did.
She's an actress. She turns on this persona and goes with it, and then boom, she turns it off, and then there's the real her, whatever the real her is. You know that baby talk she does, that baby voice? She needs to lose that, man. But I hope she grows up in prison and learns how to talk like a woman.
She's testified in Idaho, too, enduring trial after trial. Now, it's Charles Vallow's turn for justice.
And as a parting shot, they got the again.
Vallow Daybell is facing another conspiracy to commit murder charge here in Arizona. That case is set to go to trial in the next couple of months. Once her cases in Arizona wrap up, she'll be extradited back to Idaho, where she will serve the rest of her life in prison. Erica Stapleton, 12 News.
All right, Erica, thank you. Well, anytime that there is a high-profile case like this one, many are wondering what is going through the jury's mind. Well, minutes after the verdict came down of guilty, we got a first chance to hear from some of those jurors. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono is joining us live outside the courthouse. And Bianca, I think a lot of people will be surprised to know, but these jurors confirmed that they didn't know anything about Vallow Daybell's history. In fact, the fact that she had killed her kids, right?
That's right. I had an opportunity to speak with 3 of the jurors, and all 3 of them said they had no idea. They said they were planning on Googling Vallow Daybell as soon as they walked out of the courthouse today. But some of them did tell me they had a feeling that key details were being left out.
It's insane. Honestly.
Jurors in the Vallow Daybell murder conspiracy trial sharing insight into their decision minutes after delivering a guilty verdict.
It was all about the evidence, really.
Jurors who spoke outside Maricopa County Superior Court say they knew the case was high profile given the presence of a camera, but did not know why.
It's been pretty crazy. We've been having to go through back ways so that We're avoided by everyone, so there's no questioning.
They were given strict instructions not to research the case or watch any news coverage, unaware of Vallow Daybell's previous convictions, including for murdering her 2 children, JJ and Tylee.
Was that difficult going through this and not being able to be disconnected?
Yeah. It just felt like there was a lot of information that didn't make sense and that was missing.
Tylee was there the day Charles Vallow was killed. So juror Victoria Lewis says she wondered why Tylee was not called as a witness.
I kept wanting to hear from Tylee.
She also noted Vallow Daybell's demeanor.
Many days she just was like smiling and laughing and didn't seem to take anything very seriously.
Jurors say the most damning pieces of evidence were text messages, specifically where Vallow Daybell referenced becoming like Nephi, a figure in the Book of Mormon who was called upon to kill a man.
There was 2 of them for me that really stood out.
Can you tell us which ones?
The Nephi.
Yeah, that was one of them. Soon you will be Nephi, and so will I.
For this juror, Carl, it wasn't until Monday's closing arguments that he believed Vallow Daybell was guilty.
Honestly, up until yesterday, I would have said not guilty. But when the prosecutor, I don't know, what do they call that? When they give their
closing argument.
Yeah. Yes, the closing
Connected
argument.
the
That's
dots.
really, there's a few things she said in there, and then when I looked them up today, I was like, oh yeah, that's bad.
These jurors say at the start of deliberations, there were some who believed Vallow Daybell was not guilty. But after about 3 hours of discussion, they came to a unanimous conclusion.
It's just sad that, this has happened to Charles, and she's given up her life as well.
And several jurors said after leaving the courthouse today and throughout the next several days, they plan on finally researching this case and looking into Lori Vallow Daybell's history. We're live in Phoenix tonight. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Bianca, thanks.